Welcome to NiSi's Eyes Makeup Artistry, where beauty awakens the soul to act. What's up, beautiful people? Today's video is focused on getting out of the house. We all know how it is when you're trying to hurry up and get your kids together, get your lunch together, and get out the house and make it to work on time. So, this video is strictly a 15-minute video on how to achieve a look and look like you put a little bit of work into it, so you can get out of the house and get to whatever destination you're planning to make it to. So, if you need a little help on a 15-minute look, be sure to stay tuned. Alright, so if you are like me, you are the kind of person who doesn't have a lot of time in the morning. I am a teacher, so in the mornings I have time to help myself get together, my son get together, get my face on, get out the house. So you don't have time to put on a whole full glam look. I normally take my foundation and I put that on all over. When it's mommy mode and getting ready in the morning, what I do is take the foundation, put a little bit on the hand, and rub it all over the face, okay? Yes, that's not what I do when I have my normal clients, but when you need to get out the house and this is your own personal makeup, you can do with it as you please. Put about that much on my fingers, right? So I'll take a little bit here, get the hot spots, and of course, normally, I wouldn't have a scarf on my head, but you know, I'm trying to look halfway decent for you guys, right? So, I rub it in pretty much like I am doing my lotion and my moisturizer, okay? Making sure you get those cracks and crevices by your eyes, making sure you get by your nose. I like to make sure that my foundation is on my lips as well, because it can also act as kind of like a primer. So when you put on your actual lipstick or whatever lip product you're going to use, you have some kind of barrier there to help hold it in place, okay? So, as you can see, it's pretty much filled all the way in. Making sure I get around my eyes so you don't have those cracks and crevices there as well. Making sure you get the edges, okay? And then what I would do, I take a wedge and I seal that foundation into my skin, okay? This way you're also making sure that you hit every single spot on your face. So when you walk out of the house, you don't look like who did it and why, okay? You're making sure you don't have too much product in one area and a whole lot in another. You're making sure that you go down to your neck so you don't have your line of demarcation, okay? Once you have your foundation on, you want to clean off your hands from the foundation that you have on. Yes, you can use a brush. That is strictly up to you if that's something that you would like to do. In the morning when I'm rushing, it seems a little bit quicker for me to just go ahead, put a little foundation on my hands, and keep it moving, okay? So, what we do after our hands are clean, make sure your product is closed up so you don't have any product leaking all over your table or your vanity area. So, what I do now is I take my angled brush and I have the comb and brush on the end and then the angle here. What I do is take that, brush the hairs where I need them to go, right? Here, I take the Infallible by L'Oreal Never Fail eyeliner, but I use that as a brow liner, all right? So I take that and kind of just trace the arch of my eye. Okay. I will say, Starting out, if you are new to doing your brows, this does not start off as something that's easy that's going to come to you, okay? This does take practice. You're going to get frustrated with it, but believe me, after a while, you'll be like, hold on, I got this, all right? So, as you can see, your brows are pretty much forming, all right? So after you do that, what I like to do, I like to use my Motives eyebrow kit. All right, and it comes with a dark brown, a light brown, and then there's a wax that you can use in there too if you have strayaways with your eyebrows. All right, so we take some of that brown, and then you tap the excess off so it doesn't fly everywhere. All right, and then you build in your product on your eyebrow. Again, this does not come easy. It does take some practice to get used to filling in and getting your eyebrow to the structure that you like it. Right, so we're getting there. And you can take that angle of your brush, kind of make those little hairs there. Take it across the top. Now, if you have excess product that ends up going below or above where you want it to go, we can fix that. That's always fixable, right? Just make sure you have some concealer ready for you. Right, and then we go to the other side. As you can see, I usually have my arm like this so I can keep that front part of the brush how I need it to make sure the bigger part is always filling in the bigger part of my eyebrow. And then you kind of just span it out. And as you can see, I only dipped in my product once for each eyebrow. It's very rare that you'll need more. Use what you have on the brush, even if it doesn't look like you really have much on it. Okay? Every now and then, once you kind of look and start trying to get your structure of your eyebrow together, you may see that you need to go back in. So go back in, fill in a little bit, but like I said, you have your trusty concealer that is going to be your best friend, right? And close that up. And if you want more of a defined line for the bottom of your brow, you can always go back in and trace that little bit. So as you can see, it gave it more of a line. I use Pure Beige as a concealer for under my brow. And then what I also do is I take my Cool Tan concealer and that goes over the brow. You never want your highlight to be all the way across your forehead, okay? So you taking that Pure Beige, which is what I use, it may be different for you. You take that Pure Beige, and you put a little bit on your hand. My hand is my palette, okay? All right, so you take that, and you take your another angled brush, right? And you come in and you just pretty much follow the line. The lines are your friends, okay? Make sure you trace the lines and follow. All right, so you can start with little strokes or you can go all the way across. Right? And then you bring it down. Right, and then you can also fill the rest of your eye in, your eyelid, because that can also be considered a base for when you put on any shadow, if you decide to put on any shadow. Okay. And guys, like I said, this is my first video doing this live, so I have a mirror sitting in front of me, a little bit under where the camera is. Eventually I get to the point where I can look directly at you guys and be on point. Okay, so you can already see that the structure of the brow is pretty much coming along. Alright, so we filled that in. right? So what we do now is we take a little bit more of that lighter color. Remember, I haven't put the darker color on my hand yet. And we're going to go ahead and do the other side. Okay. And then once again, we're bringing it down. Now, ladies, you all know, and I don't know what it is, your mouth is connected to your eye. I don't know what it is, but you have to have your mouth open when you do your eyes. Something about that mouth being open makes it work better. Even if you try not to, it still happens. Right? And again, this is taking more time now because I'm teaching as I go. But once you get the hang of it, this is a quick, probably 5-minute process to get your eyebrows together. Right? So, what I like to do is take a wedge and go in and dab. Now I want to try to stay definitely in the area where you have put the concealer. If you go above that, you're probably going to be in your brow. So that means you may have to do some fixing. Right? So you can either take a wedge and do this, or you can take one of your brushes and do this. Alright, so what I'll do now, as I said, I like to use Cool Tan from LA Girl Pro Conceal, and I'll put that on top of the brow. Okay? Now, if you want to keep it like this, you definitely can, but I like to make sure that I have a darker color on the top to kind of blend in with the foundation. Okay? So doing pretty much the same thing, dipping your brush in, and you're going to take light strokes above your brow. Okay. And then we're going to go to this other side. And there are many techniques on how you can do your brows. You just find what works best for you. A lot of people now are doing the unibrow look. I haven't tried it because, I mean, this is what works for me. But if you see that you want to try that and it works for you, go right ahead. There's no right or wrong way to do makeup. If it doesn't work, you take it off, try again, or you work on fixing it. Okay? Then I'm going to go back and take my wedge again and just go right above and pat that in. Okay. Right? So what I like to do after that, I like to take a translucent powder, okay? And I use MAC Prep and Prime. Let me see. Okay, there we go. MAC Prep and Prime. And I take a little bit of it. Usually I'll sprinkle a little bit inside of the actual top so you don't have so much excess, okay? Same thing I did with the brow powder though. Tap it so you have the excess taken off, okay? Then you go in and put in that translucent powder, okay? This is helping keep that translucent powder, that concealer in place. So when you are ready to put on any kind of eyeshadow, it doesn't crack. Right, and translucent powder, like I said, it's pretty much just helping you make sure you lock in what you've done so far. Looks white, but believe me, you don't want to look ashy, so make sure you are patting all of that in. All right. So we pretty much have our brows all ready to go. And what I like to do, I like to use a bronzer, especially in the mornings when I'm rushing. So I use a Mary Kay bronzer. Again, when I'm moving quick, I have my hands. So I take a little bit of that bronzer and I pat it on my eyelid, okay? Like I said, you pretty much just want to get out the door and look like you put a little effort into it, okay? So just putting a little bit of that bronzer on the eyelid. You don't have to go crazy with it. A little bit goes a long way. All right, so I take my Palladio liquid eyeliner. All right. And it's up to you how you work best with putting on eyeliner. Some people are great at it, some people aren't so good. So you work with how best it works for you. Again, we're not trying to look like we had a photo shoot right before we went to work. So we're just trying to make sure we define our eyes and keep moving. Okay. All right, and of course sometimes you may need a little bit more, so you dip back in and get a little bit more. If you want to do a wing liner, you can, but like I said, this is more so I'm getting out the door with a 7-year-old and getting to work. Again, I take my Scandalized Waterproof Kohl eyeliner and I go right in. And I like this because it glides on really easy, so it doesn't have you work too hard to get your eyeliner on. Right, so we got eyes on. I go back to my bronzer and I take my angled blush brush. Again, tap the excess off and just tap on your cheekbone. Same thing with the other side. You're pretty much just trying to get to work. Get to work, do your job, come on back to the house. To give yourself a little bit of a pop, you can take one of your lip liners. For today, I'm going to use this L'Oreal Color Rich Matte Lip Liner in Curiosity Killed the Matte. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you just want to line your lip. I like to, of course, make sure I have a full lip, so I make sure I get the outer corners of my lip. All right. So this is something that I like to do as well. You can do this with a lip liner or not, completely up to you. I like to take a little bit of my Femme Couture Super Juices, right? So we're going to take a little bit of that. Again, my hand is my palette. Squeeze that onto there. And we're going to take a brush. Alright, so as you can see, we have the lip gloss right there. What I do is take some of the bronzer, put that on the brush, and dip that in my lip gloss. And it gives you kind of a chocolate mocha little look, I guess you can say. This is also good to go with if you are on the run. And you want to make sure that you have some kind of look. Let's say you're traveling. You want to make sure you have some kind of look before you go out and see the people who are in the airport. You know, stop at that bathroom before you see the people who are meeting you. This is a quick way to have a look. So like I said, you can have the lip liner if you want to. You rub that together. And you use your brush to kind of take that line away from your lip liner and connect it all. Okay. So it gives you kind of a natural look, but you also have a little pop of color there as well. All right, so what I'm gonna do is take my powder, which I like to use Covergirl. Okay, comes in a container like this. I like to take my Covergirl, sprinkle a little bit in the top as I do with most things, just to make sure I don't have too much. Tap off that excess. And then take that all around the face. If your nose is very sensitive, don't inhale, okay? And I like this powder because it gives you a shimmer. So it heightens you just a little bit. All right, pull that back down. Mary Kay Ultimate Mascara. All right. So what I like to do, take the end of the mascara and run it across your lashes. That way you can already start building that curl up because you already got the product on it. Okay, same thing with the other side. Just go across it and then take the actual comb of the brush and blend it up. Like I said, if you have time in the morning to put on lashes, go right ahead. Usually I don't have time for that. I'm doing good just to get out the house. So make sure you do that. You can let that dry just a tad. And you want to make sure that you have blended in everything in the neck down. Okay. And this is optional. It depends more so if you have flyaways with your eyebrows. I like to use Mary Kay's brow gel. Okay, take some of that, and it's almost like a mascara wand. You take that, and you just brush it in the direction that you want your brows to go. Okay, this also helps with keeping your brows in place for the whole day. Okay, so this is pretty much my look if I am going to work. I don't do a whole lot. I use that bronzer for multiple reasons. The bronzer was for my lid, my cheeks, and for my lips. So, this is pretty much my look. And what I do to seal it in for the day, I use my Spritz to Fix by Absolute New York. Close my eyes and you got a little sprinkler on your face. All right? So this pretty much seals in your look for the day. So hopefully this helps you in figuring out how you need to go about just putting on some kind of face so you can get out the house and go to work. But hopefully it wasn't too hard for you. If you have any questions regarding how I achieved this look, please feel free to leave a comment below. in the comments section. Make sure you subscribe, thumbs up, and definitely share this with people who may need the same help. Again, I am a mother, so I understand how hard it is to get the kid or kids together and yourself and get out the house and on time to where you need to be. So please make sure that you follow this channel. I'll be sure to give you what I got. Also share some of the things that I deal with as a makeup artist, different clients I may have, what it is like a day in the life, and just give you pieces of me, all right? See you later, beautiful people. So be sure to subscribe. I am a Bennett Bell, so make sure you click the notification bell to hear this bell ringing with new content. Take a minute or two and introduce yourself. I am so glad you stopped by. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, my website, and you can also email me with more questions. I'll see you beautiful people next Tuesday.